And pay attention, because The View is live. Foul play. The battle over how to punish the UCLA players caught shoplifting in China. And how they answered President Trump's call to thank him for saving them. Plus, Tyler Perry shares how his faith helped him survive a childhood nightmare of abuse and guide him to greatness. And Oscar winner John Ridley hits the table to reveal if he's surprised at the flood of Hollywood sexual abuse allegations or if it was always an open secret. Let's go! Here come Hot Topics with Whoopi, Sarah Haynes, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Meghan McCain. Now, let's get things started.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring. Snowing and blowing up bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bell time, jingle bell time. Dancing and dancing, jingle bells
We walked out to one of the most popular holiday tunes, Jingle Bell Rock, but some people say it's too soon to start playing holiday music. We're going to talk about that later. She's in pajamas.
It's the new look. It's pajama chic.
It is.
It's the new
look
trend.
in Chinatown. It's the Chinese pajamas, aren't they?
This one's been making jokes
I like it.
all morning.
I have
Thank you,
one
Megan.
people like that, too.
Her favorite thing to do is to commentary behind the scenes on
Yes.
everyone's outfits.
Yes, she said earlier if she were wearing a bathrobe, we could match.
Wait,
She
look
said
at
I
this.
look like a highway with a bump in it.
It's like a highway with a bump in the road.
I know.
So, I want to start the show off by welcoming some sweepstakes winners from our affiliate WPVI-TV in Philadelphia who are in the audience today. Welcome,
Hi.
welcome. And right before we went on air, Senator Al Franken was accused of sexual misconduct by sports commentator and model Leanne Tweeden, who claims he kissed her and groped her without her consent on a USO tour in 2006. I mean, you hear this and you keep going, so where else? Who else is going to get hit by this? This
It's
is
so
like...
disappointing to hear this about Al Franken.
Yeah.
I cannot back. You know, he's a very funny comedian.
Yeah.
He was during this time.
Yeah.
He's a senator from Minnesota. He's a great advocate for women and other, you know.
Go
Supposed to be
figure.
the lion of the
I
Senate.
mean, it's just so disappointing. But you know, men of all different stripes are out there doing crazy.
I just want to interject. I know Leanne Tweeden, the woman accusing him, very well. We do the Achilles race together. She is deeply dedicated to the military. She's a former Playboy model. Her husband is in the Air Force. Her father's a veteran. I know few people I would name on a short list of people that are more dedicated to vets in this country. This is a woman whose character I also vouch for.
Yeah.
The people who go over on USO tours and sacrifice themselves and put themselves in danger to entertain their troops, the women should not be subjected to being groped. I don't care what kind of cult figure they are
Yes,
for
no,
Democrats
that's
right
right.
now.
We agree.
We agree.
This
Okay.
it's not acceptable for anybody to do
Anyone.
it. This is, as we've been saying at this table, this has nothing to do with your political leaning.
It's
This
not a
is
partisan
not
issue.
a partisan issue.
No.
You shouldn't be doing this, and you should know better. But see, sometimes guys feel like they can make these kind of jokes, and you know, I think we have to make it as uncomfortable as women are making it for people to remind people, don't touch me.
And it's trouble.
Don't
The one thing
touch me.
that is so bothersome about this is how tempting is power that people will set aside their integrity so quickly once they have it. Because I don't know if I know women probably do this as well, and maybe it's that women don't have as many powerful positions, so we're not hearing as
That's
much.
right.
But how tasty is power that you can still go to sleep at night and be okay with those actions? Like, I'm just, it's shocking. It takes them just becoming famous, just becoming powerful, and then everything your family taught you, what you stand for, is out the window because you can.
Men that aren't powerful do it too, right?
But the majority of the ones we're seeing right now, it's a power struggle. It's people that are in positions of power.
Assault is always about power. It's always about anger. But I think what's so offensive is she's sleeping.
Yeah.
She's sleeping, and so that is truly taking power away from a woman.
Well,
right?
and
Truly
also,
it is.
I mean, look, you know, you can be, this is not acceptable when anybody does it. What?
Senator Franken provided the following statement today. I certainly don't remember the rehearsal for the skit in the same way, but I send my sincerest apologies to Leanne. As to the photo, it was clearly intended to be funny, but wasn't. I shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Good.
It's
He apologized.
the reportage that was more upsetting than the picture, because the picture, he was obviously making a joke. I don't know if he actually had his hands on her. But it's the part where he thrust his tongue down her throat, allegedly, and forced her to kiss him. That is what you call
Rehearsing first.
non-consensual assault, in a way.
an unwanted touching is
If
sexual
somebody did that
Yeah.
to me when I was asleep on a plane, lawyer up quick. Because, I mean, you would have a big problem. Joking, whatever, you cannot put
And
your
it's not
hands
consensual when
on
the
my
victim is
breast in
asleep.
any joking
Yeah,
way.
ever.
Yes.
That's the thing. She was asleep. Now, what do you think about the fact that he has come forward and said, I apologize?
Good.
Well,
He still did it.
I
Good
mean,
for him.
you know, well,
Does that make it any better?
Well, I don't know if listen, he didn't do it to me. I want to know how she feels.
I would like to know how she
You know, I
she
feel
says-
like she's
She said
the
I felt
person.
violated all over again.
No, after she's talking about the apology.
Like, you know, because some men come out and they're like, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I don't remember it like that.
No, it's good to own up to it.
He says, I
No, but what about
apologize.
Trump? His people are saying that
Oh my
those
God.
women who
What about
accuse him are
it's the thing
liars.
about Trump right now, though? I mean, again, we can have conversations about it, but I think the problem is when this is serious. I know her, and when you're saying, "What about Trump? What about Trump?"
Yeah.
Right now, we're talking about Leanne. So I think at the moment we should
the tone
respect
has been
this moment.
set on the
and
Access
we are going to
Hollywood
talk
tape,
about
hasn't
Roy
it?
Moore coming up, and this is an epidemic, as we just said, bipartisan, across party lines, culturally in every facet, in your government, in entertainment. My friend who works at I want to say, but like a friend of mine has a place she works at. This has happened. It is an epidemic across the country.
I think Joy's point is, and something that we've talked about, you know, do politicians get a pass? I mean, we heard the Access Hollywood tape, and people seem to be, and his accusers, 16 of them, and no one has
for years and years and years. That's why we're hearing
it's been
about
a
it
big
now.
pass.
Victims didn't have a voice. Now they do. So we're hearing it from all walks. No one got. I mean, sorry, not no one got it. Everyone got a pass. Again, I can't.
But how
come
do you
back.
get elected the president of the
Harvey
United States?
Weinstein
when
was running the
Here's
biggest
what
media
we're going to do.
company
Here's what we're going to
for
do.
years.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go and come right back.
Okay.
Still ahead, justice for Joy. How the law has finally caught up with people who made a fortune spreading fake news about her.
And now, some advice to our guests coming to The View.
When you step onto this stage, face these ladies, oh, you better be ready to roll, cause it is so on. This November, The View is everything.
Bam, drop the mic.
Taking on the hottest topics. Then we're dialing things up with, oh, you ready? Justin Hartley, Garth Brooks, Diana Ross, that's Miss Ross to you, and Kelly Clarkson. Oh wait, that's Kelly's song in this promo. Love so soft. Nice.
Wait, there's more.
Yeah, we're also throwing Sarah the most awesome baby shower ever. Hashtag crazy. This November, The View is everything on ABC.
I was wondering if an electric...
Tyler Perry shares how faith carried him through failure and helped him become a superstar. And Oscar winner John Ridley on Hollywood sex abuse and the state of race relations 25 years after the LA riots.
Welcome back. So that, you know, all kinds of stuff is going on. So on the other side of the fence, defenders of Judge Roy Moore are scrambling a bit to sort of figure out how to justify the allegations against Roy Moore. And he apparently asked out several underage women, and his lawyer attempted to explain all of this on MSNBC. Please, take a look.
Why would he need permission from any of these girls' mothers if they weren't underage?
Sure, that's a good question. And culturally speaking, obviously there's differences. I looked up Allie's background there. Wow, that's awesome that you have got such a diverse background. It's really cool to read through that. But point is this:
what does Allie's
each culture
background have to do with dating a 14-year-old?
I'm not finished with the context of it.
Well, please answer. What does Allie Velsh's background have to do with dating children, 14-year-old girls?
Sure. In other countries, there's arrangement through parents for what we would refer to as consensual marriage. So
Allie's from Canada.
I understand that.
So is he saying they have forced marriage in Toronto?
I know. Well, Allie's a friend of mine. I worked with him for many years. He was born in Kenya, and he's of Indian descent, but he's from Canada. He was raised in
or as
Canada.
Trump calls it, Hawaii.
Exactly.
But also, even if he were Muslim from Qatar, this has nothing to do with what's going on with your candidate.
What do you think?
It was like a
what
dog
was he
whistle.
trying to do?
I like
what was
when
he
Allie
trying
said,
to do?
he goes, I'm sorry, my friend, I just don't know where you're going with it.
Yeah, it was dog whistle politics,
Isn't he
right?
the same one who's going to get a handwriting analyst to do
This
the
man-
lawyer?
this man- I don't know. I can't. There's so many lawyers passing in front. I just can't keep any of them straight.
But if he didn't do it, the standard answer from any lawyer should just be, he didn't do it, he didn't do it, he didn't do it. The fact that they dabble in this justifying the age thing, this dating young children culturally or otherwise.
A shameful representation of the legal profession. Let's face it. I mean, that's...
Yes. Okay, so the one thing I just want to keep emphasizing is this was Bannon's candidate. The establishment Republicans wanted Luther Strange. Trump went down and campaigned for Luther Strange. But the people of Alabama, the base support for Roy Moore right now, this is all tribal. They're not listening to anything. They just know that Roy Moore is not establishment, and they're going to stick it to Mitch McConnell. The question I have is, we are sacrificing our values as Republicans and as Americans. If you can't come out and say, hey, hitting on a 14-year-old at the mall, maybe you shouldn't be in the Senate.
But isn't he losing now? He's like 12 points behind the Democrats.
He is down behind the Democrats.
So either way, the Republicans are screwed with this because if he gets in, then every Republican who's running or who's out there next year is going to have to answer for this pedophile in the Congress. And if he doesn't get in and the Democrat gets the seat, then we will switch in the Senate. And that's good news for the Democrats.
Alleged.
But if he were elected to the deep distraction he would bring, obviously, and there would I would assume these sort of ethics charges brought up on this man in one way or another. So you're right, no matter what we lose, I understand there's this giant battle between establishment Republicans and the deep Trump base. But look at the chickens coming home to roost right now. There are people that are trying to dance around to defend this, and it's really, really difficult for me to watch. And I think us as Americans, because this isn't just a political thing for Democrats and Republicans, looking at your watch.
No, I was just looking to see if there's another harasser. Another harasser update. I can't keep up with them.
It's sad all the way around.
Yeah, it is. And you know, all I would say to the folks who may at some point have to vote either way, Luther or Roy Moore, if you have daughters, would you be comfortable with him in a room with one?
Yep.
We'll be right back.
Real cheese people are ham and...
I've been asked to tell you that one of Roy Moore's accusers who claims he groped her, Tina Johnson, will be live on The View tomorrow to tell her story. So, from just ridiculous to even more ridiculous, people are calling for the 3 UCLA freshman basketball players arrested in China for shoplifting to be thrown off the team. Some even want them kicked out of school. Now, if this isn't the stupidest thing a young person has done, particularly if you're over 6 feet tall.
6'5" and 6'7".
And black.
Black. You kind of stick out.
Let me make my jokes.
Sorry.
Let me do my thing.
Sorry, what?
All right. But you already did it, so now I can't do nothing now.
Sonny's the echo.
I'm sorry.
But, I mean, is this just the ridiculous stupidity of youth?
What did they do exactly?
Apparently, they went into Louis Vuitton and thought it was a good idea to maybe walk out with something. Now, you're in China.
Yeah.
You're this big. It's not like you're going to blend. You're not going to blend in, run out, and blend in. What are you thinking? You know your folks had this conversation with you.
Definitely.
They told you this. The coaches told you. Everybody said, don't blow this. And what does youth do? And I'm blaming it on your youth because there's no other explanation for this.
But how much punishment should they really have to get?
Well, I'm sorry.
They should
get suspended for a month.
Yeah.
Oh, at least.
Yeah, at least.
You know?
I
don't think you should ever throw anyone out of school for stupidity because most of us, I think, have done some stupid stuff. But this is now
school.
this is what people are calling
Megan
for.
and I were talking. I mean, they caused an international incident where the president had to get involved and call the president of another country. I mean, this is really significant. And the reason I felt strongly about it is because I was telling you guys, my friend Reggie spent 3 years in Asia and invited us all to China. And he made it very clear. He's like, there aren't a lot of black people here. People come up to me and ask about black people all the time in the United States. When you come here, you will be representing the country. Please be careful because you are now a representation of African Americans in the United States. And so I'm so offended by that.
Is that why you're wearing those pajamas today?
Our guest yesterday,
You know, the jokes will keep on coming about the pajama
our
sheets.
guest that was on yesterday for the problem with Apu said something interesting. He said when you have less representation, there's more writing on your back to represent.
Yeah.
So if they don't see, as Sonny said, black people very often, you really have a lot riding on you to represent in racial ways, but also the country, the school. I think what they should do is find a tally for what it costs the school, the country to pay for all of this. And when they're not sitting on the bench because they are suspended right now, they should be doing community service.
Something.
But I'm not a fan of saying, I don't think kicking folks out of school is going to, but I do say you can embarrass the hell out of them. What y'all did was as dumb could be. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Well, no, of course you're not going to do it again, but what, you know, you embarrassed your families, you embarrassed the country, and you embarrassed the president. Now, I'm not a big fan of the president, but the fact that he had to call and get your asses out of there.
I know.
Is not anything to be proud of or think is cool. Y'all messed up.
Badly.
We'll be right back.
Hey, honey.
I was in an accident and it occurred on 35.
One of our speed rounds. So 3 con artists have been claiming that me, Joy, Barbara Walters, and other celebrities spokespeople have been spokespeople for their bad skin cream. And the law has finally caught up with them, but not before they made $179 million on the product. I'm hoping that Joy will get a piece of that.
Well, they say that it's my cream. And Candace Cameron Bure's mother bought it, her aunt bought it, and I'm sure hundreds of thousands of people.
That's right.
You know, and with mine, I haven't seen a dime.
Because it's actually not your skin cream. It's not hers. It was never hers.
They used my picture.
They used all kinds of pictures.
Yeah. One offense was someone
to imply that if this beauty needs any enhancement.
And then they accused me of using it. It's like, This didn't crack before that. It's not going to crack after.
We have a deal. We're gonna look into suing them pro bono,
Absolutely.
of course.
Absolutely.
Also, I have something for you to go with your pajamas.
Yeah. So at the top of the show, we walked out to Jingle Bell Rock. But the question really is it too early to start cranking up holiday tunes?
Oh,
no.
It's early. It's early. My
I
kid,
feel like you tune it up right about June, and you just ride it out for 6 months
You know,
of
the
the year.
beauty of the holiday tunes is,
There's so many of them.
Nancy Wilson, for
Yes.
example, my all-time favorite jazz singer, she sings holiday tunes.
Everybody.
Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
New Kids on the Block had
All
one.
the great
Yeah.
singers
Yeah.
sing those songs, so they're wonderful.
I think it is too early. I came home yesterday. My kid's piano teacher was there teaching them holiday songs. So they're like playing. My kid Paloma picked Grandma Got Run Over by a
Yeah, I love
Reindeer.
that. That's a good one.
But instead of picking like, oh, come, oh, ye faithful,
No.
Silent Night, it's
a
like,
good
ding,
one.
ding, 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 ding. So I'm going to be hearing that for like a month.
I like that
so
song.
jealous.
Well,
I ride hard for Thanksgiving. It's my favorite. I prefer Thanksgiving.
Right.
All you have to do is eat. You don't have to buy presents for
Right.
anyone. So
Yeah.
I prefer Thanksgiving over Christmas.
well, so and I'm guilty of this because I'm doing my holiday sweaters. They're on sale
yes.
at Zappos. And for commerce, I understand why people want to get ahead of the curve because there's so many things out there to buy and such. But I do like the idea of waiting till just after Thanksgiving to start hearing the music in the stores, start hearing it on the radio, because I don't mind having it for 2 months. But it's that 5-month thing. And I say go start shopping, in January. I start shopping January 3rd.
Really?
For the end of the year.
Plan.
We'll be right back.
Plan ahead.
Hello. Tyler Perry hits the table next. Okay, want to shake things up? Yes! Yes! Well, you've come to the right place. Yeah, we're shaking up politics.
We hear that you suggested that Meghan take this gig.
It needed a good conservative voice to counter yours.
Here's what I'm saying. Whoopee joy 2020.
The View asked me to rap for my whoop. I hit a high, I know for my whoop.
That's why you love
The View.
Drop the mic.
on ABC.
When it comes to strong bones, are you on the right path? We have postmenopausal osteoporosis.
Next, Steve, Anthony Anderson, Guillermo Diaz, and things get kinda
I love that mustache.
scandalous.
Whoa, ho, ho.
Next, Steve.
Today at 4 on ABC 22.
So you know why people watch Fox 45 News at 10?
Because it's on at 10.
And because we do stories that you want to know about.
How we're rebuilding our community.
And what's happening in our schools.
And of course, weather in your neighborhood. Watch Fox 45 News at 10. See the difference for yourself.
The American Music Awards blows the lid off live with performances by Lady Gaga, Nick Jonas, Christina Aguilera, Pink, and so many more. Tracy Ellis Ross hosts the American Music Awards live Sunday on ABC.
Higher is Waiting is the gospel according to Tyler Perry, which reveals how faith helped him through the toughest times of his life, guided him to become a one-man media empire, and just helped him walk the walk. Please welcome the most fabulous Tyler Perry.
That's really awesome. Hey.
What's going on, man?
How you doing?
So, I'm good. You've written this book, Higher is Waiting. You talk about how your faith sustained you through some really, really hard times. And What made you decide now was the time to write the book?
Well, you know, a lot of people have been asking me advice for years, and I've been the counselor to a lot of my friends who call me up. What do I do in this situation? Having marital issues. I'm having issues with trying to get higher in my life. I'm having issues with my family. So I've been journaling for years, so I finally decided to put it all in the book. But it's so personal and it's so intimate. There were a lot of things I wouldn't talk about until after my mother had passed. And she passed in 2009, so I felt liberty to be able to write some of the things and some of the stories I told. Yeah.
And it really is very personal, especially when you write about your relationship with your father.
Yeah.
And how your faith really helped you deal with what was obviously a very difficult time for you. Can you tell us a little bit about your faith journey? Because I was struck by the fact that you seem to have always had that.
Yeah, well, my mother was a woman who endured a lot, but what she had was faith. She didn't have some great legacy. She didn't have millions of dollars, but she taught me about God and about Christ and took me to church. And what I found is what she knew is that if you don't give your children something, they will turn to something in the time of crisis. So I'm glad for me it was God and faith. So yeah, without her, I wouldn't be here. I had one of those mothers who loved me, who was disciplined, who was strong, unconditionally. That's right, for sure.
You know, they say if you have a great mother, you've won the lottery.
Is that right?
Yes.
Well, I won it big time. I won it big time.
It's a rather difficult time in our country. And you
think?
I think so. We talk about it every day. And you addressed that in a speech that you gave when you were named favorite humanitarian at this year's People's Choice Award.
Yeah.
Let's watch that for a second.
You turn on your phones, you turn on your television, you're met with darkness, negativity, death, destruction, terrorism, murder, hate, racism. You know, you don't even need to search for it because it's searching for you. It can find you. It's right there beside you. It's in your pocket. And you have to be careful that when you have things that close to your pocket that they don't seep into your heart.
Wow.
You can't get away from it these days. You know, I had to unplug for like the last few weeks. I've just unplugged because the last 24 months have been very difficult for me, just with all the negativity. I'm not a person that likes to dwell in it. So I just unplugged and started to fast and to not watch so much news. Step back for a minute, cleanse myself. Let me just be okay. And what I found is that really tragic things will still find its way to you in this day and age. You don't have to go looking for it. It's going to find you.
But there are people who have lost their faith because of these trying times. And some people who use their faith in some weird way, too. What do you say to all that?
I don't know why it's so weird, but because for me, I'm screwing down tighter in these times, just because you know, when there's so much uncertainty and you feel like there's a lot of good going on. Every day there's something else negative. For me, it's very important to focus on what I know and go back to what my mother taught me, to pray and to believe. So that's why I wanted to write this book, to let people know, you know, there is a higher place. You don't have to live low. You don't have to live low in whatever it is in your life. Finances, love, relationships. There is a higher place if you reach for it.
We get high.
Is that right? Is that right? Is that right? You get high. You get high. You get high.
I like how Tyler starts nodding. He's like, wait.
You get high. Get high.
But Tyler, you talk about, you give some advice for people with big dreams, and you say you got to protect them. When did you start to do that?
When I started running into dream killers all the time. Those are the people who walk around and tell you, oh, you're never going to be this or you're never going to make it. I had a school teacher who tell me, she said, you're never going to be, he was asking class what they wanted to be. I said, I wanted to be a millionaire and a businessman. He said, you're never going to make it because you're poor and you're black. So to have a teacher, no, he wasn't. No. He wasn't. Yeah, he was a black teacher.
Real dream killer.
Yeah, so then I started to protect them and hold them closer and hide them for myself so that as I got older, I would realize I got this little nugget over here like a newborn that I'm going to protect. And when they were no longer fledgling and they were strong, I could show them to the world. Yeah.
Do you think the teachers kind of going, damn?
His words.
I would sure like to see him today. I really would. I really would.
I'm sure he sees you.
You know, you were speaking about your mother, Maxine, and you have an entire chapter in your book dedicated to her. I think that, I love that. That's so beautiful. What do you want the world to know about her?
You know, I would talk about how wonderful and how much love she had, but there was something about her that was one of her greatest flaws that I think I would like to share with the world, and I wrote about it in the book. This chapter is called Getting to Worthy. There's so many people in the world that don't feel worthy. You don't feel worthy of going higher. You don't feel worthy of good things. You don't feel, for whatever reason, what someone said to you as a kid or however you grew up or something your husband's saying to you, and my mother lived her whole life that way. And if I could get one person to read this book and walk away feeling that they're worthy, just because you're here, just because God said you're worthy and his thoughts toward us are good and pure and not evil, is to give us hope and love and a future. If I can get people to understand, one person to understand that, and one little boy doesn't...
Go ahead. It's all right.
Yeah. I'm sorry, my mother. When I start talking about my mother, one little boy. If one little boy in my shoes can look at his mother and see that she got it, then I've done what I'm supposed to do. Yeah.
Talk about one little boy.
Yeah.
The book is dedicated to Aman.
Yeah, my son.
Your son.
Yeah.
He's 3.
Oh, I'm getting ready to be wiped out now. I think I'm more emotional than you are right now.
I mean, how's it been, man?
It's been incredible. You know, I dedicated to him, I say, to my son and my SUN son. And he's been my healer, because what I found is that every time I hug him, he looks so much like me. When I get down and I'm looking in his eyes, I'm looking at the little boy that I was. So when I'm hugging him, I'm hugging myself. Every time I tell him I love him, I'm telling the little boy that I was, I love you. So there's been a healing going on, and he's so precious, man. He's just been, he is so precious. It's the greatest gift.
As a mom myself, what I love about the book is that even though your mom was maybe struggling with being worthy, she made sure you knew you were worthy.
That's right.
That's a mom's job.
Yeah, that's who she
and
was.
She did it.
Yeah, selflessly.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
Let me ask you this: you're voicing a character in a children's movie.
Yes.
The Star. It's about the story of Christmas. Did you watch? It's so amazing. I can't wait to see it. Did you watch it with your son?
Not yet. It comes out Friday, and we're telling the story of Christ and Christmas through the camel's eyes, through the animals. So I think it's so great for kids. I can't wait for him to see it, because he won't be looking at Medea.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Since you brought up Medea.
Oh, God.
Boo 2 of Medea Halloween killed it at the box office last month. It was your 6th #1 opening. Please tell me you never retire Medea.
Listen to me. I've said this before. I'll say it again. As long as people want to see it, she'll be around. But the minute they stop coming, that broad is dead. She is gone. She is gone.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh.
She makes me laugh. She makes me laugh.
Me too.
It just is wonderful. And you know why I love you doing it? Because it's an homage.
Yeah. True.
And it's not like, well, why is he dressing as... It's funny. Remember when you could see a great person dressed as one? Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
And it was fun. And I love her because she makes fun of life.
You and your show, Fontaine. I mean, all of no.
Medea needs to meet Fontaine.
Yeah, that would be great.
Our thanks to Tyler Perry. His new movie, The Star, opens tomorrow. His book, Higher is Waiting, is available. And members of our studio audience, you know what? You know what I'm telling you. We're going to take it home. We'll be right back.
Next, Oscar winner John Ridley exposes how a decade of racial tension and police brutality exploded at the 1992 LA riots, and if history could repeat itself. Bob Saget break a Guinness World Record live on The View? Find out tomorrow.
Got a lot of attention this year for his powerful documentary, Let It Fall, which follows the decade of racial injustice that led to the 1992 LA riots, baby. I'm telling you, I was there. I remember. Please welcome the amazing John Ridley.
Yes. Well, everybody's talking about this documentary. I saw it, I think, in April or May when it was theatrically released. It's so incredible. It's graphic. It's been 25 years since the riots. I can't believe that. Wow. But when you look back at that footage, which is so graphic, in some ways it's a mirror image of what we're seeing today, I think. Are things better today than they were in 1992?
And people ask me that question, are they better or worse? And some of it is... There are things that we can't really calculate. I think in Los Angeles, we screened this film for the LAPD as an organization, as men and women. They have a better understanding of police and community. But when we see these kinds of videos now on a regular basis, And we still have individuals who can go into a courtroom and not get some kind of legal redress in some way, shape, or form. Every time.
Even if there's a videotape.
When there's a video, there's evidence, or in specific circumstances. We can't pretend every single time it's going to turn out every way that I or you may want it to happen. But again, when we see these systems, and we're seeing them all over the place, there's a problem with the system. The amazing thing for me about the documentary, and it's kind of what Tyler was saying earlier, systems can fall, but people can rise.
Yes.
You know, we can do better.
Makes it harder.
It makes it harder, but that was, people again ask me, what was the takeaway from this documentary? There are extraordinary people out there, regular folks, like in this room, who when given the choice, they will do better.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
Now, so you were a young black man living in LA at the time of the riots. Somebody told me that folks warned you about the police, the LAPD in specific, because they had a rough heritage from almost the 30s on with any group that wasn't white.
I grew up in a small town in Wisconsin, so my experience with the police was different because the police were not just removed individuals, they were your best friend's dads. You know, you were at their houses, barbecue. I came to New York, was the first time I was in a city where I felt like being black or being other would not be a detriment. But that was the New York of Howard Beach, of Bernie Getz, of Crown Heights. So by the time I moved to Los Angeles, I was ready for a new, open, inviting city. But all kinds of people, not just black people, they would tell me the LAPD, it's different out here, and you had to be careful. I didn't realize, and I don't think any of us realized how much different. But again, I do think the LAPD is in a better place, but that was years.
It took a long time.
A long time. It was a very painful transformation for them.
It was. Let's talk about the other topic that everyone talks about right now, because it seems that like every day there's a sexual harassment claim against a Hollywood exec or a Hollywood star, or even politicians, as we talked today about it. You're in the business. People say, oh, this is an open secret about Kevin Spacey and about these others. Was it an open secret to you?
No, we are in an industry that is so much built on rumors and conversations, and you hear people, hear things about people constantly, and they tend to be outsized things. So there are things that I've heard about other people where you hear it, and some of it, and I don't say this as an excuse, but you work in an industry where so much is about personality and passion and what does it take to get to the finish line. But we also work in an environment, and I can only speak for Hollywood, where when I walk into a room, I know that the odds are against me. And it's not, no, these are wonderful people. The best things that have happened in my life have come out of Hollywood, but you know what you're up against. Now, for me, a lot of that has been of a benefit because you put your head down and you say, I'm going to succeed no matter what. But you can't pretend that there are other people who are in that environment that it's not just about succeeding, it's about getting through the day with a little dignity and respect. And that's what we always have to measure against. And I believe when we were on American Crime, Michael McDonald, our other producer, 90% of our directors on that show were women or people of color. And with our producers, we tried to create an environment where at the very least people would feel welcome and respected, and that's something you got to work on every day.
Well, it seems that the key to it, a lot of it with harassment, is about putting women in powerful positions.
Well, I think it's certainly, it's a top-down, whether it was Hollywood or whether it's Let It Fall. The LAPD was the way it was largely because of one individual. We are on our sets, on our shows, it's still top-down. And we can look at other people and go, what are you doing, what are you doing, what am I doing, and am I doing better?
Well, look, you have to come back. It's just not enough time. Thanks to John Ridley. Let It Fall is available on Netflix and iTunes. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming. Have a great day. Take a little time to enjoy the music.